I've done more than I ever thought I could do. I have more than I ever thought I could have. Is this all there is? This is it? Like, this is the peak. This is the ultimate of life. Like, these things, these accomplishments, all I've done.
You said that you're at this age in your life where it's like you reached a lot of the goals that you were working so hard for. And now that you're here, now that you've reached these goals and you're kind of at that end point of a lot of your goals, it's actually the pursuit of those things was so satisfying, and the thought of like enjoying the journey more than the result of what you're going after.
The things that are obviously vapid and false were never really attractive to me. You know, promiscuous sex outside of marriage, drug use, it didn't appeal to me, right? So if I was doing all those things for 20 years, everyone would be like, well, it's obvious, dummy. You're chasing after empty, vapid stuff that's never going to make you happy. There's a trap, though. The trap is that good things can be very similar. You're chasing a relationship with a woman, right? Your wife. And you would say, well, that's a great thing. Yeah, but if you're looking to that for all of your happiness, all your fulfillment, all your joy, then it's actually not appropriate. Like,
It's going to let you down.
It's going to let you down. And then when you go to the money side of it, you know, the success side of it, again, you know, you're chasing all that stuff. And then when you get to like my age, there's two things that happen in a person's life depending on how they live their life. One I would call a midlife crisis, and one I would call an existential crisis. They're very different. A midlife crisis is, I haven't done enough. I haven't done anything. I'm a lazy schlub. Like, I got to get busy. I got to do something. Right? That's a midlife crisis. I didn't do enough. I got to get going because there's not a lot of time left.
Okay, I think a lot of people also, I remember when I was a teenager, I thought, oh, that guy's having a midlife crisis. Whenever he got to an age like 40, 50 and realized that he didn't do the things that he should have did when he was young, so now he's trying to do it, but he's this older guy trying to do it. But
that's midlife crisis. So what I struggle more with is called more of an existential crisis, and that is, it looks like this. I've done more than I ever thought I could do. I have more than I ever thought I could have. Is this all there is? This is it? Like, this is the peak. This is the ultimate of life. Like, these things, these accomplishments, all I've done. And you really get a sense, especially as you hit your 40s, right? I'm in my 40s. So there's a lot of interesting things that happen in your 40s if you're paying attention that will wake you up to, like, money, success, and stuff isn't all the answer if you're willing to pay attention. I think the hard part is a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll double, triple down at this point because they're like, I'm starting to feel not so great about everything. It must be I need to do more. So let's build a bigger business. Let's get a new girlfriend. Let's buy a faster car. Let's just try to do something more, like basically do double more than what I've already done. And I've seen a lot of guys go through that process. But for me, what I realized was I thought that those things were going to hold more happiness, fulfillment, long-term fulfillment, contentment, peace, and really none of it is found in those things. And that was a little shocking to me because it was like, yeah, I know it's not the most important thing, but come on, like having security financially is important. That's what's really going to make you feel like safe and happy, or having stuff in general is going to make you happy. And what I realized is what Pastor preached about from Ecclesiastes. The problem is at times, whether you realize it or not, and I got to this point, is like you're looking to the thing for the happiness. You're looking to the success of it. You're looking to just a sense of yourself. Like, I'm valuable and important because I made all these wise decisions, and I put away all this money, and I made this life for myself. Like, that's who Adam Meadowcroft is. He's that guy. But then when you hit 40, you're like, but I've done that all now. So how do I still be that guy anymore? Like, just do more of it? Just continue to do the same? Do more of what I've done? And if you're willing to be honest with yourself and say, like, maybe that's not where all of my happiness and contentment and fulfillment should be coming from. Maybe it needs to be coming from someplace else. Maybe my priorities need to be reassessed. And I've been in that process for, like I said, about 3 years. So I'm 42. So about from when I was 39 to 42, I've really thought about, like, what is the next chapter of my life from God? Is this what he really wants me to keep doing? Is this where I'm going to find success, happiness, and fulfillment in the long term? And the thing about chasing success is it does make you happy. People wouldn't chase it if it didn't make them happy. It does. But it makes you happy for a very short period of time while you're chasing it. Maybe a little bit after you accomplish it, but then there's this massive depression fall off afterwards. I've done it over and over and over again, where I've chased, for example, like acquisitions, right? They're very exciting, buying another business and building your business very fast. Like, so 1 year I doubled the size of my business through acquisitions in 1 year. Think about that. That's
crazy.
That whole year, oh my goodness, Shane, it was so much fun. It was like hunting and chasing and building and talking to banks and orchestrating this
like $1 million
deal. And yeah, now you've convinced all these people that they should sell to you. And it's just, and then you're like, when I am done with this, my agency will have doubled in size. My income will have doubled in size. This is so incredible. This is so great. And you do it all. You go to closing, you sign it all up, and you get it all organized and whatever. And then just kind of like, everything it was giving you is gone. It's not there anymore. Actually, what's there now is stress. Stress to manage this big thing that you just created that you don't even really know how to run as well as you did the thing that was half its size, right? You knew how to run that well, but now it's double of everything. Double people, double responsibilities, double stress. And the other thing I didn't realize that happens is when you don't have anything, you're stressed, right? I don't have anything. I'm stressed. And then you get everything, and then you're really stressed because now you have it. And it's like, I got to protect this. I got to take care of it. I got to make sure I don't lose it. What if next year I make less than I did this year? Then it's just this other stress. Actually, that stress I think is higher than the stress of not having it. It's very high stress to have all this stuff and be panicked about managing it all. And the verse in the Bible that just simply talks about, don't give me less than I need, but don't give me more than I need. Like, there is a beauty to understanding when enough is enough. There's a wisdom in that. Like, I don't know, like in the upward trajectory of ascension, there is some place in where that's enough for you. And if you can step off that at that point and just transition and change and be a different person, I think that person can be the happiest person. Wow. It's the guy that says, I've got enough, I'm really good, and now I want more. Ooh. Pastor also said, he's been talking about this from Ecclesiastes, but when you have $1 million, what you're convinced of is that $2 million is what will make you happy. That's what you need. Because if I get to 2, then even if I slide back down a little bit, I'm still over 1. But then you fight and you get to 2 and you're like, well, I can't have less than 2.
I need to have 4.
So I have 4. If I have 4, then I can slide back down and I'll be happy. But when you get to 4, and it's just a cycle. If you don't choose to break that cycle, it will suck you in for the rest of your life. And you'll just be chasing and chasing and chasing a thing that as soon as you acquire it, makes you unhappy, and then makes you have to go back to the beginning and start chasing it again.
And I feel like that's kind of like working out. Like I remember I used to have so many goals with, just being in shape and kind of maybe hitting some numbers, but also like just having certain muscle tones and stuff. Yeah. And I would be like, man, I got to have my 6-pack look like this. And then like, it looks like that. And then it's like, that's not enough though. It's got to be this. And then it's like, it never ends. But the problem is I lose all that time. Like I spend a whole year focused on that thing that in the end is like, doesn't even matter.
And what's interesting is I think sometimes God is waiting for you to back off and stop trying to drive your life in the direction you want to drive it. And if you're willing to do that, you're willing to say, okay, if this is enough, then I'm cool with that. I will accept that. I'm ready to do what you've asked me to do. So just show me what you want. You want me to give half of this up? I'll give half of it up. You want me to give all of it up? I'll give all of it up. Wherever you want me to go from here, I'm cool. I did that about 4 years ago. The funny thing with God is, if your heart's in the right place, he'll tend to keep giving you what you need. And my business actually has almost doubled in value in the last 4 years since I said that to God.
Wow, good for you.
And that is really not me pursuing it. It's just like, I think God's saying, you're in the right place. You're in the right mindset. I'm going to keep blessing you because I see what you're doing with it. You're doing the right thing for now. And so for now, I'm going to keep giving it to you because listen, you said it. It's hard. It's hard to have a lot of wealth and do it well and manage it well, and especially the way God wants you to. And so like if God sees you handling that well, I think he's going to use those people in a special way to say like, I'm going to flow some big blessings through you. And that goes back to why am I generous? Because I believe that. That's a principle in my life. Like, I know God did not give this to me to just absorb it all. God gave it to me as a resource to use it for something. And so just keep your ears. A good preacher that I like is Ray Comfort. And one time he said, have a really light grasp on all your money. Like just a light touch on it. Don't have your hand. Like, so as soon as God says, I want this, you just like, sure. Yeah, it's yours. Take it. Do what you want with it. That's where you're going to be happy. And I've been through, early in my life, I remember being tight with money and feeling like I had to hold on to every penny, and it makes you miserable. It does not make you happy. Greedy people aren't happy people. They're just rich. And rich does not equate happiness.
As far as business ventures and stuff goes, you're kind of towards the end of that. And as far as expanding, correct? Unless God
opens up some big window.
Yeah, but you're not like driven to like,
no.
Oh, let me just plug this forward.
Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about the second chapter of my life. What I want to do in the second chapter in particular is, number one, I want to do whatever God wants me to do. So I'm trying to really work on being sensitive to what God's saying in my life. And one of the ways I think you do that is when he puts your finger on something, obey. Do it. That practice of he led me, and I did it.
Yeah.
Like it builds a habit of being more sensitive to God and doing it. But the second thing is like I've learned a lot of things, and I want to spend the second half of my life investing in other people. My son, my business, my employees in my business, young men at this church. One of the reasons I love that Sunday school table because there's just so many young kids that are sitting there. And they're about to start their life and start doing stuff. And I wish someone could tell me a bunch of the stuff that's in my head back when I was 20 years old.
Oh, those kids have golden opportunities. I wish at my age or when I was that age that I could just be sitting there with people at different ages.
Class like that when I was their age. It was called a college and career class. Is that still, they still do that, right?
But what an advantage.
There was a guy named Mark Hutchin, and he ran that class. And he was about my age that I am now. He was probably about that age. He was so passionate, and he was so real and so honest, and he would tell the truth. And like, I was blown away by this. Like a Christian who's just being so blunt and honest and sharing their life in real ways, like real temptations and real challenges. And he made such an impact on my life, and still to this day, he's a super close friend of mine. But like, I remember that. And like, when I'm sitting at that table, it's just like, tell them the truth.
Yeah.
Tell them the real thing about life and what you've learned, and like try to be a help to them.